Do you know Bull?
Do you know ball?
Do you know Bull?
Do you know ball?
Do you know Bull?
Do you know ball episode 59, ladies and gents? Welcome back to your favorite ball knowing podcast. I am Matthew DeGennaro. I'm joined here with Zachary Pappenberg. Zach, say hi.
What's going on, everybody?
And we are down a familiar face, Jonathan Stevens. We are currently taking job applications. So if you want to take his spot on this podcast, please comment down below. Johnny is no longer a staple on this podcast. He screwed up. He's no longer part of the team. Isn't that right, Zach?
No, no longer a part of the team. We're
We
looking
gave
for
him,
new
yeah.
applicants.
We gave him a strict contract. You have to be here for every pod we record. He is not here. So if you want to join me and Zach on the Do You Know Ball podcast, comment down below. You might get your shot. But without further ado, we have a lot of topics to talk about. I think 50% MLB, 50% NBA.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And actually, before we get into it, this is a buzzer beater topic. The Florida Panthers just won the Stanley Cup. Zach, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, great. Put me in that spot. I don't know anything about hockey right
This
now.
is true. He doesn't. But
Yeah.
anyway, I just thought we should throw that in there. The Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup. They have won back-to-back Stanley Cups. Connor McDavid, you're going to win a Stanley Cup one day. Don't worry, Oilers fans. You guys have gone through a lot, but just keep your head in there. Trust me, as a Nets fan, as a Yankee fan, Devils, Cowboys fan, you guys are going to get your time to shine. Don't worry. You have great talent on the roster. The Panthers, you might not like them, but they're just a really good team right now. So they won back-to-back Stanley Cups. They also cracked the cup. I don't know if you knew this, Zach.
I did not know that.
They cracked the cup. How they did it, no idea. But there you go. That's our yearly NHL topic, and it was 2 seconds long. My apologies, hockey fans. But why don't we go right into the first topic of the day? Why don't we do that?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Okay.
First off, starting off with Devers. Devers is a San Francisco Giant. It's crazy how this deal went down, but let's just talk about what Boston got in return for their franchise guy. So, in return, obviously, the Giants are going to take on the rest of Devers' contract, which is around $250 million for the rest of his 8 years. And they got Jordan Hicks, which has a 7 ERA right now. So I don't again got a lot of potential. Jordan Hicks is still very young, but 7 ERA right now. They also got Kyle Harrison, whom they already sent down to AAA. So and he hasn't had a terrible year, but hasn't reached the point where he's a solid pitcher yet. He's at like a 4.5 ERA. Um, and they also got a couple young guys in James Tibbs and again I forget the other one, Jose Bello. Yep, James Tibbs and Jose Bello are the two minor league guys that they got. Probably the best person in the deal that they got is James Tibbs. Looked up a few of his stats. He's hitting pretty well, but then again, he's really young. Like they are minor leaguers. Like it's it really blows my mind why the Red Sox made this deal because they were in a playoff spot. They were a game over 500. They just swept the Yankees. They were on an
Oh,
uphill
thanks.
trend, it seemed like. So why make this drastic move? Why sell Devers and sell him? You could have at least tried to shop him around the league, but instead you went to the Giants. You took the first offer, and this is what you got. The major win to me really is just freeing up that $250 million. That's the major win for me in this deal. But other than that, this is really just a joke of a trade
Hmm.
for a franchise guy. Deej, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I got the notification like everyone else did, and I had to do like 10 double takes. I had to make sure this was the real Jeff Passan because it was so out of nowhere. How do you make this trade if you're the Boston Red Sox? I understand there's a lot of drama with Devers and, what position he's playing and if there's some clubhouse things going on behind the scenes, but you just cannot make this trade. And I feel like they did it so like quickly without even thinking, and they did it so emotionally. And there's no shot this is the best offer they could have gotten. No disrespect to James Tibbs, but like Kyle Harrison could be good, but like, if you're the Giants, you do that every day of the week for Rafael Devers, who is under contract for the rest of his career, pretty much. So for them to also not even like shop him around to other teams, like that's crazy to me. Like, why the Giants? Why did they only speak to the Giants? Buster Posey doing fantastic, to say the least, as a first time GMer. He's It's not a stretch to say that he's been fantastic. He's been really, as a human being, he's been really torching it up. And I'm sure Giants fans are happy that they're not going invisible anymore. That's the thing with this. He's not going invisible. He really is trying to save the Giants from doomsday. And, he's doing a good job just kind of surfing on out there. He's not going for silver, he's going for gold. So props to props to Buster Posey there. But I truly feel I'm not even trying to laugh because I'm a Yankee fan. I truly feel for Boston Red Sox fans because this must suck. It must suck because you lost Betts, then you lost Sale, and now Devers for virtually nothing. They got absolutely nothing in return for all of them. And the headliner of the Mookie Betts trade was what? Alex
Alex
Verdugo.
Verdugo, yeah, and they don't even have him,
They don't even
and
have
they don't even
anymore.
have him.
And Verdugo has not really lived up to expectations. Sale was Vaughn Grissom. I don't even know where Vaughn Grissom's at anymore. No clue. And now Devers, I mean, Kyle Harrison could be good, but like, how do you not get like Bryce Eldridge out of this trade? Like what? Devers is still 28. I mean, sure he has a big contract, but you're getting him for the rest of your career. How do you not try and pry away Bryce Eldridge from the San Francisco Giants? I just don't understand that. And it's just such a boneheaded move, in my opinion. It's a move that can, I was gonna say, really be a huge detriment to your franchise, but they already did that with Mookie Betts, so it's gonna be hard to recover. And like they're just playing like a small market team, and Boston is one of the bigger markets in the league, and they're one of the bigger franchises, and they shouldn't be making moves like this. And I think David Ortiz said it best, or it might have been Pedro Martinez. One of them said it. It's just such a reactionary trade, and they just handled it so poorly. So I don't know. I feel like it's just I sound like a broken record, but like it just doesn't make sense. And Boston fans, I truly feel bad. I've been there. A lot of my star players have left, and they've been traded. So I feel you in this. But you still have the Celtics. I mean, you still have the Celtics. There you go. There's that, I guess. So.
There is that, and just one more thing I want to add to. I think this came out maybe a few days ago. I
Mhm.
don't know if you mentioned this, but Devers did mention that he's open to the possibility of playing first base for the Giants as well.
Mhm.
So there
Yeah,
goes that whole
that's
point we made a couple months back where we were talking about Devers and how he refused to move from the DH spot. Here we go.
mhm.
It's just an FU pretty much to the Boston Red Sox, and he's just saying, I'm doing whatever I can to help this team win,
Mhm.
and I wanna be here because I feel loved, and I
Yeah.
didn't feel loved where I was before, and
I think
that's where he's at right now.
part of the reason too is it's because Christian Campbell volunteered. He said, I'll play first base if needed, and Devers almost like felt that as like an attack on his character. And from that point on, it just kind of went downhill. That was another report. Not sure if you saw that. And I did see another thing that said the Giants and Red Sox have been in contact for 3 to 4 weeks apparently on this. So thanks Boston for waiting till after you swept the Yankees to trade him. Thank you. But I as a Yankee fan, out of the division, don't gotta worry about him anymore. But interestingly enough, the Red Sox big three of Betts, Bogarts, Devers, all in the NL West now on different teams. So that's going to be very interesting. Forgot about Bogarts too when I was saying that too. That's crazy. But he's not doing too hot right now. Zach knows because Zach has him on fantasy. I hope you're enjoying him. Is he?
I'm
How
enjoying
how
him.
how's Bogarts been doing?
Very mid. I mean,
Okay,
like he gets his hits here and there, but he's up there now. He's
okay.
up there in age, so
Mhm. But yeah,
can't
so
expect too much out of him.
I do feel for the Red Sox fans. But you guys did win a World Series a couple years ago, so you have that. And who's to say maybe you would have won a lot more if you kept the core together? I mean, Mookie and Devers would be a fun 1-2 for the foreseeable future. Plus, you got other guys. I'm sure you'd sign. You have Bregman now. You have Alex Bregman. So was signing Bregman the beginning of the end for the Boston Red Sox? Is that where
I
we're
I
at?
I guess so. I guess that's where we're at right now because I mean Devers wasn't happy when Bregman came in and stole third base pretty much,
Mm-hmm.
and now it was the beginning of the tumbleweed, and Devers wasn't happy and stuff. So I guess they felt like they needed to make the trade, which is why they rushed about it and went about it the way they did. And it's just still so mind-boggling to me because
Yeah.
again, the way contracts work right now, Devers would easily be making near probably right under Soto and stuff like that. Like he would get like a 500, at least a 500 to 600 million dollar contract if he signed in today's era. But he's on pretty much on a cheap deal. People could look at it like that. Um, and it's only 250 million to pay off the rest of his 8 years. So again, it's a really brain dead move from the Red Sox, and the return they got was not um worth Devers at all.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
hopefully they could try to bounce back. They got a lot of young talent on that team, but it's going to be really tough because you just messed up a lot of things with that
Hmm.
trade.
Yeah.
It's like the Luca trade. It really is.
Mhm. And then, but for the Giants' perspective, the Giants have been having a good year. Now they're going to be making a push, and you can argue they're in the toughest division in baseball because I mean, you have the obviously the Dodgers and you have the Padres. They're always competitive. So they really started off hot, and they're looking to stay hotter for the foreseeable future. So I like this for the Giants. Very random. It is super random. Honestly, if you had to ask me what team I thought Devers would have gotten traded to, if I genuinely thought any shot in hell he would have got traded to, I might have said the Mets. I mean, I might have said the Mets. Don't perk up. I don't I don't think they have a good package for him. But like Steve Cohen and Stearns, they're pretty. They're pretty. I don't know Stearns. I have some words about Stearns later on, but they like to make moves. The Mets don't have any third baseman. He wouldn't be a Yankee. They'd never trade him in division. So I mean, he'd probably be a Dodger. Let's be real, honestly. I mean, the Dodgers get whoever they want, but the Giants totally unexpected. Shout out to one of our friends, Robbie, who was going to be on the pod. He is a Giants fan. Couldn't make it today, so unfortunately. But this is for him, Robbie. I'm happy for you. No one has it better. Anyway,
No one has it better. And
I
with that
think,
being said,
yeah.
let's just go straight into Shohei's debut. So a lot of things with this. I just want to mention that he had a decent debut. Shohei's debut went about as you expected. He showed flashes of his former self. I thought there was some positives, even though he gave up a run. He gave up a couple hits to little fluke hit to Tatis. He gave up a hit to Luis Arias, and then Manny got the sac fly and drove in the run. But besides that, the good things out of it I do want to mention. I really liked how his sinker looked. I felt like he got a lot of good whip on it, a lot of good tail on it. It looked really good. It stayed at like 98, 99 miles an hour, which was a really good sign if I'm looking at him from a Dodgers perspective and a Dodgers fan perspective. Another good pitch was his sweeper. It looked really nasty. It just the Dodgers really weren't biting or not the Dodgers. The Padres, excuse me. The Padres weren't really biting at any of the pitches he was throwing outside the zone. But he looked really good for the most part. Two of his pitches touched over 100 miles per hour or 100 miles per hour. Um, and it's going to be interesting to see how the Dodgers really use Shohei. Are they going to keep him in the rotation, have him go those long innings, try to get him to work him up to 5 innings, and try to get him to go longer and longer as the season goes on? Or are they going to slot him into the bullpen? Is he going to be like sort of like a closer? Like how would that work? I'm interested to see how that dynamic would work if he was literally DHing that game and then got brought in to close. Like how crazy would that be? I don't know how that would work. I don't know if they would need to use him as a pitcher, as just a pitcher in a specific scenario. I'm not entirely sure how that all is going to play out, but it's interesting to see what they're going to do with Shohei. And there was a lot of bright spots from his debut. So, Deej, take it away. What's your thoughts on his debut?
I honestly don't know too much about his debut. I was learning as you were speaking. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's a lot of Shohei glaze out there, and if Shohei can really like just be back to form fully, then the Dodgers are going to be scarier than they already were because they have a lot of injuries in terms of pitching. They always do every year. For example, like we don't know anything about Sasaki. I mean, yeah, Glasnow and Snell. Like this rotation was supposed to be the best in baseball going into the year, and it has been nothing close to that, just simply from an injury perspective. So if Ohtani can start to work his way and being consistent on the mound, then on top of everything he does offensively, the Dodgers are going to be scarier than they already were. Keep in mind, they won the World Series and he didn't pitch. So when he does get to pitch full strength, and you already know the strength of that Dodgers lineup, as scary as it is, they're going to keep being a force to be reckoned with for years to come. So that's all I really got to say on Ohtani. This next segment I'm super excited for, and I might just go grab like a bowl of popcorn.
You might as well. You might as well because the next segment is Mets losing six in a row. And it's not just to Atlanta, a struggling Atlanta. We also lost three to Tampa Bay. And it they just can't really put together runs. It's been really rough. You know, some of the Tampa Bay games were blowouts. They really haven't been able to do anything against Atlanta.
My favorite Tampa game was the one they were winning until they weren't.
Mm. That was the first game of the
That
series.
was
It
my
was
favorite
five
one.
five one,
I
and
happened I happened to catch it. A good friend of mine was watching the game. I happened to catch that.
yeah. Well, Tampa's not too terrible. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. They played us really well. Um, and just the pitching staff really. There's so many things to dive into with why the Mets are doing the way they're doing currently. It's just a little bump in the road in the season. I'm sure they'll bounce back and get back to their winning ways, but it's stuff like this. So to start off immediately, let's just talk about pitching. Um, Griffin Canning is one of the pitchers that has had a major regression. I think he had like a 2.7 ERA to begin the season, and then over his last couple starts, he's racked up around like a 6 or 7 ERA. It's been really rough for him. He hasn't really found his groove in a while. Clay Holmes has been all right. He just had a rocky start today against the Braves, but he hasn't been really doing too well. And then of course, to add insult to injury, Senga goes down and is going taking a trip on the IL. So probably we lose the pitcher that leads the MLB in ERA. So that was another great thing that happened. We're trying to get Sean Manaea back. Frankie Montas is supposedly to follow too.
Yeah.
So the both of them should be coming back shortly. But pitching's been a real struggle. Now you get to the catching position. And here's where a lot of people, including me, um, really struggle with the thought of Francisco Alvarez. And now, yes, he
Francisco
has
Alvarez, as Frank likes to call him.
literally, he has been the definition of like up and down, truthfully. Like, he started off the year, he was all right, but now it just seems like he's going back to the uppercut swing. And that's what he tried to get away from in the offseason, working on getting his swing more level and so he could get to the ball better. But now he's uppercutting again, and his at bats haven't been too great. I can't really say anything about his defense because he throws out guys left and right. But one other thing that I noticed is some with certain pitchers pitch better when Luis Torrens is behind the plate rather than Alvarez. I wonder why though. I actually do really wonder that. Maybe is it pitch selection? Is it chemistry? What's going on really that makes the difference between Luis Torrens and Alvarez? For one example is Ryan Stanek. He has been struggling a lot this year, right? But for some reason, when Luis Torrens is behind the dish, he's got like a 2 ERA. But then when Alvarez is behind the dish, it goes up to 6. So I wonder why that is. So that's another issue, and it's just a couple things, man. It's just not scoring runs, pitching going downhill, and just Francisco Alvarez not taking competitive at bats. It's a lot of things with the Mets, but hopefully, I mean, the deadline's coming up. They have to be eyeing pitching of some sort. I,
Mm-hmm.
I I would like to see them get bullpen help and a lot of starting pitching if they can.
Yeah.
Maybe two middle of the pack pitchers, or get like one solid ace. Whatever it may be, they need to get starting pitching and they need to get bullpen. I don't even care if they even get a bat this deadline. I'm really more so focused on pitching and solely focused on pitching. So that's my little rant about the Mets and their losing skid. hopefully they could get it back together. But Deej,
Yeah.
I'll turn it over to you for the
Yeah,
next
I
segment.
I do want to talk about the Mets a little bit.
Go ahead.
Just a little bit. I wouldn't have put this as a topic if the Yankees didn't win today, because the Yankees were on a little skid of their own, but they won, so I can celebrate a little bit. Um, I saw a post about Frankie Montas, and yes, he's a human, but like he got torched, like pretty bad.
I know what you're
It
talking about. I
it
know
was
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
you know the photo I'm talking about? Like you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was
Are
like
we,
8 earned runs or
yeah.
something.
One
W-
point. What? It was like a inning and two thirds,
Yeah.
like 8 runs on like
Yeah, he got
around 8 hits or something like that. Not good. Very not good.
yeah, no, he got torched, dude.
He got lit up in the
Yeah,
minors.
he was not fantastic at all. And the thing is, right, when you are a major league player, the thing is, it's hard to stay invisible. And it only spells out doom. That's the only thing with Frankie Montas, because as a Yankee fan, I'm very familiar with his time being the second pitcher in the rotation for the Yankees and him not being what we wanted him to be. You know, we passed up on Luis Castillo that same deadline. Um, it would have costed us Anthony Volpe, which in hindsight probably would have been so worth it because I can do a whole different segment on Anthony Volpe, but we'll save that for another day. So I know from personal experience, Frankie Montas has not been great, not been reliable. And if this is the guy the Mets are relying on to come into that rotation and maybe make a step, you're shaking your head like it just
It's just not okay. We knew this
that's
was gonna
okay.
happen
That's
though.
the problem with
Like
David Stearns though, is I think like and the same thing happened last year where like he kind of goes for like the budget guys. And instead of going out and getting like these proven guys, like you guys were rumored for like Dylan Cease and other like like proven pitchers, but I feel like Stearns is such like a dumpster diver, and when it's like Brian Cashman, I do think Stearns may be a little bit better than Brian. You can have a debate, but I'm just really biased against Brian Cashman. I think they do the same thing where like they'll dumpster dive for people, and then when they just so happen to play good, they look like a genius, and that like they'll continue to do that same thing. And Stearns has done this for what 2 years in a row now. At least the difference between this year and last year is the people he dumpster dove for were like solid pitchers that just kind of need like Mania used to be good. Sevy used to be good. Who else am I missing?
um
I feel like I'm missing like a key person.
yeah, you
Um,
definitely are. Hold on, it's not coming to mind right now.
I don't know, and just like signing Clay Holmes to be a starter, like, well, I don't
Jose
know, man.
Quintana.
Quintana, like that's
Yeah.
another one. Like Quintana used to be good. Like at least like you're signing people that like did have a pedigree of being good, but now like this year, like you're relying on Griffin Canning and Montes who had like one solid year, and who else is there? I don't really care. Like Clay Holmes, who was nothing but awful for the Yankees. I shouldn't say that. He had his moments. He had his moments where he was good, but like he was a closer. So it's like it's definitely weird. And David Stearns, like you have the guy who's known for dumpster diving, you're pairing him up with the richest owner in baseball in Steve Cohen. You have a dumpster diver and a big spender. It's just such a weird combination. It's a weird combination, and I'm not a Mets fan, so I can't really speak too much about it. And if I'm wrong in any capacity, feel free to correct me. But like that's
Look,
just kind of that's how I feel looking in, like the outside looking in.
yeah, no, you're definitely not wrong. What he usually does is he likes to just like recycle and repeat. So
Yeah,
he'll just every year to year he'll just whatever batch of pitchers he signed for like a 1 or 2 year contract, they're done, and then he gets a bunch of new ones. I would like to see him go out in the deadline, be aggressive, and get an ace to put at the top of the rotation. That's what I would like to see, because that's what I think we need, and I think we need a nice lefty in the bullpen. I don't know, there's only select few really out there right now, but I would like to see another a good lefty in the bullpen. But he's in terms of the rotation, he's very lackadaisical with that because he tries, like you said, he tries to turn garbage into a diamond. Griffin Canning was awful, awful for years, especially last season. If you just look at his stats from a season ago, it's terrible. And then this year, he comes in and he starts off with a 2.7 ERA and has one of the better ERAs in baseball. But Obviously, time has changed, time has passed, and he's gone a bit of a slide. But I don't know. I'd like to see them change it up. I'd like to see Stearns change his perspective a little bit because although the penny pinching and going after, you know, dumpster diving for players is good and all, but it's not sustainable. It's not going to last for a long period of time. But just to not beat up a dead horse. Deej, lead us into our next topic.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's the end of the MLB topics. We're going to go right into our last couple of NBA topics, which we'll try and make quick. But the first topic, Desmond Bain has been traded to the Orlando Magic. This is a trade that, Zach, you can answer this honestly too. I did not see coming at all. I didn't know Desmond Bain was even on the market. And I feel like a lot of people are disrespecting Desmond Bain a little bit because so many people were quick to say that the Grizzlies won the trade. And I'm here to tell you my personal opinion. I don't think so. I think the Magic definitely won this trade. But before we get into that, let's talk about what the trade was. So the Grizzlies got Kentavious Caldwell Pope, Cole Anthony, four unprotected first round picks, and one first round pick swap in exchange for Desmond Bain. Desmond Bain is, I don't have his stats in front of me. I think he's like a 20-point per game scorer. He shoots 40% from three. Like great 3 and D guy. Like he's the definition of 3 and D in this league. That is the perfect fit for Orlando. And I absolutely love it. In today's NBA, yes, you're gonna look at four unprotected first round picks. You're gonna look at this trade. You're gonna look at the Mikal Bridges trade and think like, oh my God, like that they're ruining the trade market. I think this is a fine price to pay for Desmond Bain. You're not going to be getting talent for cheap in this league. Desmond Bain's contract is not like league shattering. It's not like second apron bad. He's on like a decent contract, but like for his value, you're going to want it. He fits right into that lineup. And now you have a starting five of Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bain, Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero, Wendell Carter Jr., plus all the talent you have on your bench. That is a damn good team. And with the East being wide open, I could totally see the Magic being a top four team in the Eastern Conference next year. Hell, if they come out of the Eastern Conference, I'm not going to be surprised. This could be a Pacers scenario. No one expected the Pacers to come out of the East. I mean, they just have a damn good team and they have damn good depth and they have Halliburton and Siakam leading the way. I could see Paulo and Franz Wagner doing the same thing for this team. And I could see Desmond Bain being that Derek White for the Magic. I think this is a great move for the Orlando Magic, and they're young, they're up and coming, they got a great coaching staff. Bain's already been talking about how much he loves Orlando, kind of throwing shots at the Grizzlies. So I absolutely love this for the Magic. For the Grizzlies, I mean, I don't know what their plan is. I genuinely have zero clue. Are they going to trade Ja? Are they going to keep him? Same thing with Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, you just let Taylor Jenkins go. Like, are they trying to retool? Are they trying to rebuild? I don't know. I'm not going to answer on the Grizzlies part of this trade until I get like a more clear image of what the move and indication of their plans are going further. But right now, for the Orlando Magic, love this trade for them. I love this trade. Zach, your turn.
Yeah, so initially just looking at the trade, I really thought it was kind of pretty fair for both sides, to tell you honest truth. I like the return for the Grizzlies, and I definitely like the return for the Magic because, like you said, Desmond Bain is a pretty good fit with Orlando. I didn't think they really needed a star Orlando. Um, and this guy is, like you said, 3 and D. He's going to put up numbers for the Magic this year, and I think he's going to fit nicely and form a nice little young big three with Wagner, Boncaro, and him. So it's gonna be really fun to see them play in Orlando. But just to touch base on the Grizzlies, I like you said, I don't really know where their heads at right now. Like that's where my kind of thought process was on this whole thing was what are they trying to do? Because they obviously they drafted Edie last year, so I thought they were going in a pretty decent direction because you now had Edie, Jaren Jackson, Ja, Desmond Bain. You had a pretty good starting core. Um, but they didn't really have enough or what it took because there's a lot of stuff obviously with Taylor Jenkins getting fired, and that could throw off team chemistry. And leading up to the playoffs, things were rocky. But I still don't know what they're gonna do. Like you said, could they trade Ja? Could we see him be moved, or could they like retool the whole team and try to trade every piece but like Ja and like Edie and like try to keep and build around those two? Who knows? Maybe they're fed up with Ja though. Maybe they want to move him and try to start from scratch. I wouldn't really put it past them. It hasn't Things haven't gone to plan how they thought it was going to be the past couple years. Ja really hasn't been healthy. He's been on and off the injured list for a while. So we'll see what they do. I would like to get more of a clearer picture, like you said. And for Orlando, this is great. I think this is going to be a fun pairing. I think Orlando has a chance really to, like you said, to make waves in the Eastern Conference. The Celtics are out. They could really be emerge as a top team. I think they already are, in my eyes, a top team in the East going into next season. But hopefully they make it farther, or they seed up in the playoffs, and they make it farther in the playoffs once they get there.
Mhm.
But another just heading on to the next topic, Deej, Rutgers boy drama.
Yeah. You want me to do
Yeah,
this?
this is your guy. This is
Yeah,
one of your
so
guys.
this is okay. It's not looking good. I don't know Ace Bailey personally, but Mark, my roommate, one of our close friends, has met him, and he seems like such a sweetheart, if I'm gonna put it like that. Anyway, uh, Ace Bailey has put himself in the center of some controversy lately. He has been, what's the right word? He has been denying visits to certain teams in the lottery. He refuses to be interviewed. He refuses to work out for them. And that's like some like Eli Manning type thing. Eli Manning did it with the Chargers, refuses to get drafted by them, and got drafted and then traded to the Giants. So I want to clear some of the air with Ace Bailey for a second. A lot of people are questioning Ace's character. From everything I know as a fellow Rutgers student, Ace is a great kid. Okay, Mark has met him. I've seen him around campus. He is a super chill, laid back person. He had a totally normal upbringing as well. It's not like he had like a super difficult life, and sometimes, the rough upbringings can kind of like, what's it called, shape, how they are as a person. Ace had a totally normal upbringing. So this is just the case of Ace getting really poor advice from his agent. And his agent is Sharif Cooper's father. Zach, are you aware of Sharif Cooper?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so, yeah.
So Sharif Cooper, for those that don't know, I don't know. I don't think he's in the league anymore, but he was like a second round pick, late lottery. I don't know. He was in the NBA a couple years ago, and his father, or Sharif, was demanding that he get paid for on camera interviews. Now, this is just poor advice straight from the get go, and obviously you can see Ace is now suffering from this poor advice from Sharif Cooper's father. Now, I don't think there's necessarily a problem with a kid such as Ace wanting to kind of dictate where he goes because, for example, look at Cooper Flag, right? Cooper Flag's really good. I think he's going to shine in any situation, but the ball is not going to necessarily surround him. The team's not going to surround him because you have Kyrie Irving when he's healthy. You have Anthony Davis. That team is already a contender, so it's not going to really, the success is not going to be built around Cooper Flag. You look at Dylan Harper, who's most likely going to San Antonio. You have Wemby, you have Fox, you have Castle, assuming they're not going to be making any groundbreaking trades at the moment. It's going to be hard for Dylan to kind of shine in that scenario as well, although I think Dylan has the capabilities to do so. So right now, it'll be the same thing with Ace if he goes to Philadelphia because they're not really there to, develop prospects. They're there to win a championship. Obviously, the ball is going to revolve around Embiid, Maxey, hell, even McCain. They still have Paul George. So Ace is not going to be the center of attention there. So I kind of don't blame him for not wanting to necessarily go to Philly. However, I think the way it's being handled is pretty poor. Now there is a chance, and I've been hearing reports that Ace might fall to 8 at Brooklyn, like specifically Brooklyn. Like that's not just from Nets reporters, that's from reporters like all over the place. Teams are labeling Brooklyn as a potential landing spot for Ace, and Ace just wants a place where he can get the ball and just flourish and make an immediate impact in minutes and scoring. And that just screams the Brooklyn Nets. It just that and Washington, I think, are the two best outcomes. I hope I hope he comes to Brooklyn. He has a fun fact. He has a little clause in his Nike contract where he gets like a boost in money if he's in LA or New York. So maybe that's some incentive for him to want to go to Brooklyn, but it's just not really, you know, it's not good from like a outside perspective, but like if you're aware of Ace as I am cuz he was my classmate. Like me and Ace are buddies, I'm why are you laughing? I'm telling the truth.
Hey,
Me and Ace are buddies. We invited Ace to be on the podcast.
we did. Ace, the
He
invite still is out there for you.
he
Still out
actually
there.
he agreed. He's just a little bit busy right now with some
Yeah.
draft workouts. So if when he's a Brooklyn Net, we can get him back on. But it's like a really bad case of like this is just a complete misunderstanding. Ace is a great kid. He does not have any ego issues, I can assure you guys. And you know, I think whatever team gets him, especially if he falls out of the top 3, hell even top 5, any team's going to be lucky to get him because he's getting comparisons to like Jason Tatum and hell Kevin Durant would be his absolute ceiling. No one's ever going to be Kevin Durant ever again, but if he can be even close to that, like close to Jason Tatum esque, Ace is going to be a great player in this league. And I think any team would be absolutely foolish to pass up on him for ego issues when Ace does not have any ego issues. It's just a case of poor advice from his agent. That's me protecting my boy. I hope Ace goes to Brooklyn and whatever team he goes to, I will support him. But I'm looking at it from both sides of the story where I see what he's doing, but at the same time, I think he's doing it very poorly. So
Well,
that's my ramble.
the whole thing about him handling it poorly and like Sharif Cooper being kind of in his ear and forcing him to make,
Sharif's father, yeah.
yeah, Sharif's
Hmm.
father um being in his ear and kind of influencing his decisions. That is something I didn't know because I too was curious about this whole situation because I find this whole situation pretty bizarre. Um and I just hope, I don't know, it doesn't seem like Ace is a bad kid like you said.
No, he has
And
no ego issues. I promise you.
it's just interesting because I've seen him. He's not intending any of the Sixers workouts, so he's not going there. There was also reports that said that he would not go to a Utah Jazz invite either, which can't really say I blame him, but
Yeah, I don't
still,
like who wants to play in Utah, man? Like
still,
that's the case. Yeah.
still, he should have definitely gone to the invites and worked out for the teams. I don't understand why he's not, but. Then again, if he does fall to the Nets, this is exactly what he wants. This is what he wants the ball. If he wants the ball, then he'll get the ball in Brooklyn because he will be probably the number one guy in Brooklyn, and the center of
Oh,
attention will
yeah.
be around him
He will
completely.
be the franchise guy in Brooklyn. You can't say the same thing for these other teams.
No, you can't. And if he falls to Washington or if he goes to Washington, I mean, I it'd be all right, but I feel like again, I just feel like me personally, again, not knowing too much on the situation as well, but me personally, I feel like he'd be a better fit in Brooklyn than Washington because Washington, although they have a lot of young talent, I feel like they just have too many failed draft picks too. I feel like they don't know exactly what to do with their guys and like you know what I'm trying to say, like the upbringing,
Yeah, they have
developing
Sar,
players.
and Carrington and Koulibaly. Like they do have a kind of a an established young core. Like Washington's not in like the worst scenario, but like if Ace wants to go to a team where he will genuinely be the center of attention and everything will run through him, Brooklyn, like all bias aside, Brooklyn is the team. Brooklyn is the only team in the league where they don't have a franchise guy. Like I think you can make that case for any other team in the league. Um, is that wrong? No. I think that's fair. No, I don't think I'm wrong. I think I sound so biased. I'm really not trying to be. I think Brooklyn is great for him.
Yeah, I think Brooklyn's a great fit for him, and hopefully he actually does fall to 8, and it falls
Or
to Brooklyn.
or
Or
the Nets trade up. They've been labeled to be very aggressive. If they get any indication that he is falling out of the top three, hell, even top five, Brooklyn is definitely going to trade up. And I know, what's the other team? Washington, or is it New Orleans? It's either Washington or New Orleans. They're also going to be very aggressive. And if the Nets don't get Ace, I will be totally fine with Jeremiah Fears. I think Fears would be absolutely phenomenal as a Brooklyn Net. But anyway, that's my take on the matter.
all right, well then moving straight along to the blockbuster segment of the night, which is the NBA Finals recap. We got to do a weekly recap for the finals, and it is going to a game seven. I can't even believe that I'm uttering those words because again,
Because you're a hater, that's why.
I know, but again, a lot. I guess we got to give kudos to Johnny here a little bit. He was the
No,
one who called it from the beginning, said 6 or 7.
no.
Um,
Johnny deserves no
but
credit.
Johnny's off the pod. Johnny's off the
Johnny's
pod.
off the
So.
pod. Johnny deserves dead ass. Johnny deserves absolutely zero credit because Johnny closes his eyes and just picks a random number.
Yeah, so
Sucks.
just
Mhm.
straight up, it was a blowout. I'm not gonna lie, it was a rough game for what's it called? The Thunder. And I they got to bounce back in game 7. I can't even believe I'm still just hung up on the fact that it's going to a game 7
Yeah,
because
this is
I really sorry.
I was gonna
Sorry,
say it's the
Deej.
first game seven since 2016, according to my sources. Since LeBron, the Cavs, and the Warriors. That's insane. We were in like middle school, Zach. Not even. This might have been before middle school. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
We were
No,
going into our
I remember
junior
that.
year of college. And the last time we've had a game seven in the NBA, like insane,
That
absolutely
was
insane.
that finals was probably one of the last finals that I watched. Like fully, truthfully. Like I was really there was a point in time where I was really into the NBA. Like live, breathe, slept the NBA. I really loved watching basketball. But as time grew on, obviously that part of my life has kind of passed. But I still keep up, obviously. But man, the Pacers just shocked the world. I really when they went down 3-2, Halliburton's injury and all that. It
I
it
never lost hope.
it really seemed like it they were heading to lose the finals pretty much. It looked like they were going to lose. But they really responded tonight and they responded in a big way. And you know what? Game 7, it's going to be a dogfight. I don't think it should be a blowout for either team. I think it's going to come down to the wire. But man, like I really expected OKC to win in 4 or 5 games. I said initially. Um, but even as the series went on, I was like, okay, they're gonna probably win in 6, and then it never happened. It never happened, and now the Pacers and OKC have turned this finals that we've all said in the beginning. Remember, we were like, oh, it's probably gonna be a dud. It's not gonna be too interesting to watch. It's in a game 7, and it's in the second game 7 since the LeBron Cavs era. So, I mean, it's just amazing. I'll read off some stats too, just so I'm not repeating myself over and over again. Kind of a disappointing night on the Thunder half. Shea usually drops close to 30 points every night and fills up the stat sheet, but in this game he really wasn't himself. 21 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. That stat sheet is usually filled up by the end of the night, and that's not where he was at tonight. Um, few other guys that did all right for the Thunder. Jalen Williams, he did really good. He got 16 points. That's just what he normally does. Um, and just looking at Indiana, like you got 20 points from Obi Toppin. Did you knew that? Deej, 20 points dropped by Obi Toppin.
Um,
That's really good, especially in terms of a supporting cast. And Halliburton. again battling with injuries, still dropped 14-5. Uh, Nemhard had 17. Siakam had a double double. Like this Pacers team is really gritty. And I said that from the beginning, Matt. You've wore a Pacers jersey every single pod for the
That's
past
right.
couple pods now.
So happy
Um,
for my Pacers.
it's really great. I'm super happy for either team.
For me.
I don't care who wins. Um, I
And for
think
me.
this NBA
Right.
and for you,
Thank you.
um, I think this NBA playoffs as a whole has been really entertaining. Definitely brought a lot of fans, a lot of old fans back, I think. And let's just see how this wraps up. I think this is no better way to end it than a game seven, and
Hmm.
hopefully let the best man win. I don't know who's gonna come out
Hmm.
on top. I think it's gonna be a gritty game, but we'll see. What's your thoughts, Deej, though? I'll
I
let you go. I'll turn it over.
I just told everyone do not count out the Pacers. They are going to be a force to be reckoned with. The depth, the leadership of Halliburton to come back and play even injured. You know, if they were going to win, it was going to be in Indiana. What worries me the most is the fact that they're going to be in OKC, but they have won in OKC before. It's not totally impossible. It's just, Halliburton being, not fully 100%, and then OKC obviously having the home crowd on their side for the final game. Oh my god, it's going to be so much fun. I implore every NBA fan to watch Game 7 because this could be the best final we get in years. In years. I almost view this can almost be like 2019 Nationals vibes, right? Maybe like the Pacers, like the underdogs. No one expected them to go far, going up against the best team in the league, the Thunder slash the Houston Astros, minus the cheating scandal. Thunder, we don't, whatever. But like this is this, I'm getting like some fun vibes from this, and I'm cheering for the Pacers. I told everyone Pacers were gonna win. I got looks. I got funny looks. It might have been because I said Pacers in four. That's besides the point. But I've been ride or die Pacers pretty much this whole playoffs. And for one of my teams to finally win, for one of my teams to finally win, oh my god, I would love it. So next time you guys are gonna be watching our pod, we will have an NBA champion. Um, Unfortunately, you're gonna have to probably wait a couple days until after so we can get new topics and film it. But next pod, we will be talking about the brand new NBA champion, and I believe the NBA draft is like 2 days, if not like 2, 3 days after Game 7. So I can give you some updates on my draft predictions. Hell, we can get Mark on, and Mark can talk about the draft too. I know Mark's very knowledgeable in the prospects, so we're gonna have a very fun pod for you for episode 60, right?
Episode 60 is the
There,
next
there,
episode.
there's
Big
60
6-0
picks. There's 60 picks in the NBA draft. It's perfect. It's
on the dot.
God's on the dot, no matter what. On the dot. It's fantastic even. That's the thing. It's fantastic, and it's not a stretch by any means to say that. It's not a
Definitely
stretch.
not a stretch. But
Yeah.
with that being said, that about wraps up episode 59
Go
of
Pacers.
the Do You Know Ball podcast. We will catch you guys next time for episode 60. See ya.